Am I the asshole for canceling my parents' invitation to go on a 5 holiday with us? So, we were planning and talking about this trip for a full year and we were all excited to be going together, in part going on holiday and in part an extension of our wedding anniversary celebrations which were before this trip. Their preference was always to go together with us rather than by themselves, which we also offered and discussed. 1. We wanted to treat my 30 female parents, 62 female plus 59 male, to a special 5 holiday for their big anniversary. We already had a good, tried and tested hotel. It is the same hotel we went to for our honeymoon, so we knew it would be perfect, and that especially my mum would absolutely love it. As my parents live in a different country to us, and would struggle to get around in a foreign country, they don't know English, my husband, 30 male, made the effort to arrange the flights in a way that would mean we would arrive on the same day and also at similar times of the day to make it as easy as possible for my parents. Even though we would have to drive 3h to the airport in our country, it was never an issue, but as a reminder that all the effort put into making this trip was basically futile. 2. Long story short, my mum is mad at me for something that is ridiculous, but I still apologized for details and comments, and relations between my mum and my dad are also strained to say the least. She wouldn't speak to me or him on their anniversary celebration, which we flew to only because my father asked me to come, hoping all will be resolved. That did not happen. Last time she was mad at me, she wouldn't speak to me for a whole year. It is always really risky with her. She is either in good mood or bad mood, and when she is in bad mood she ruins everything for everyone. We, me, my husband and my father, suspect she is either bipolar or has a border personality disorder, but of course she will not go to a psychiatrist. My dad seems to have developed a mild drinking problem, which is worrying, but I digress. 3. As we are going together, and it is our only proper holiday this year, I can't let anything destroy it. This is also taking a big toll on my relationship with my husband. How do I know that even if she says that she wants to go on holiday with us, she won't turn around and say that she wants flights back home in a couple of days into holiday? Or how do we know she doesn't get mad at me for a little nonsense? I feel like with her, everything is just hanging up in the air by a string, waiting to fall down on us at the flick of her finger. The worst thing about this is that we feel like WATAs here because we are the ones who have invited them to come with us, but the bad relations between me and my mum, and my father and my mum are absolutely not our fault, and we refuse to be dragged into their problems. We tried everything we could to restore good relations with my mum and nothing has worked. She won't speak to me, she hasn't even texted us on our anniversary day. Am I the asshole for deciding that me and my husband are going to go on holiday without them, given the situation? Not the asshole. You should probably speak to your father though and explain your reasons. Not the asshole. But speak to your father before canceling. Maybe you go with the original plan where they go separately so you can just adjust their dates. They may struggle a bit with English and you won't be there together, but nobody can say you didn't give them the gift and then resent you for that. Not the asshole. And you should give your mom the 5NC treatment. Not the asshole, of course. Why would you want this obnoxious woman on holiday with you? If anyone treated me like she treated you, that would not be in my life, period. I think you should just ask your dad to come. Am I the asshole for telling my coworker that her comments were inappropriate, and rejecting her offer to help? F32. I'm currently 8 months pregnant with my first, which my husband, M33, and I are absolutely thrilled about. I am nearing my maternity leave, not in the US, for reference, and I was in the office this week to try and finalize all the little loose ends before I am off. I am primarily a remote worker, so while the team has grown quite rapidly over the past few months, and I have not had an opportunity to meet every new starter in person. That means there were a lot of new faces in this week, and I enjoyed chatting to them. Now, it is quite obvious that I am pregnant, and my maternity leave has been spoken about quite a bit within the team as I am handing over all of my projects. So new starters have spoken to me about the pregnancy while I was in the office. This is no issue. Happy to chat about the baby and our preparations, but I was made quite uncomfortable by one interaction this week. Susan, F40s, started 3 weeks ago, and I am handing some of my work over to her while I am gone. I have met her a few times over Teams, but she saw me in person for the first time on Tuesday. She was asking lots of questions about the pregnancy, and detailed, quite graphically, her birth story. It was a bit odd, but I tried to move the discussion on. That is when she said, and I will quote her, "I am not speaking as your colleague, I am talking as your friend. If you ever feel or notice something odd, please feel free to reach out." This could be cramping, or bleeding, or your water breaking. Even if you need someone to help coach you as you prepare for birth. To be clear, we are engineers and Susan has no medical background. I was so freaked out. Why would she offer this kind of help? And why would I call essentially a total stranger and discuss personal details about my body? We have been totally professional up until this point, and this was my first time even meeting her in person. I told Susan that I appreciated the thought, but I had a fantastic team of doctors and a very supportive family, so I was okay. Then Susan said, "It is sometimes easier to talk to someone who has been through it, so please call me even if it is the middle of the night and you don't want to wake your husband." I told Susan that I was getting uncomfortable because this was not an appropriate discussion for work, and I would appreciate if we could stick to project-related topics only from now on. Susan seemed quite upset and has subsequently been avoiding me at the office and taking much longer to get back to emails. I mentioned what was going on to my mom, and she said that I was too harsh when Susan was clearly only looking to bond with me and this was the only way she knew how. My mom said I should have told her that the office wasn't the place but I should not have shut down her offer to help. She said maybe Susan was trying to make a female friend at work and just came off a bit weird. So, was I the aw? Reddit is always so extreme in its responses. You are not the asshole but I think your mom is right. Susan is likely not a complete psycho as people are making out. She probably wanted to make friends, had a difficult pregnancy herself and thought she was being helpful. She came off a bit weird but it doesn't seem malicious. Some people are just terribly socially unaware. I'm actually going to lean to nah. She wasn't trying to be malicious. Many women's spouses don't want to hear the details, or they're not very supportive. Doctors don't typically warn pregnant women of atypical issues, preeclampsia, cholestasis, etc. And it's often through, "Hey, watch out for XYZ," that it's even brought up. She may also have been trying to just check in on you as a person but going about it the wrong way. Not that your husband is abusive. But abuse escalates a lot in pregnancy and giving warnings like she did is a way to gauge that. Not the asshole. There might be any number of reasons for her behavior. Perhaps she has some unresolved trauma from her own birth and is trying to resolve it in a weird and clumsy way. You're not her therapist, you're her colleague, and you acted reasonably in telling her so. Nah, just a little socially inept. You didn't have to accept her offer. You just realize this for what it is, a bid to connect over a shared experience. You say thank you and just don't reach out for help? This didn't need to be awkward, but you made it awkward. Nah. You obviously aren't the aw. But Susan isn't either. Sure, she was coming off a little too familiar for someone who you've only known for a few weeks and never met in person before. But it does seem like she was just trying to be helpful and friendly, even if she went about it the wrong way. I think the feedback your mom gave you is actually right on the money. Would I be the asshole for telling my boyfriend that his family can't stay with us for Christmas? My partner, Joe, 29M, and I, 26F, have been together almost 6 years, and owned a house together for nearly 2 years. My partner's family are from a city almost 4 hours away, whilst I am lucky enough to live less than an hour from my own family. Every year when Christmas comes around, the conversation starts about whose family we will see. My parents are divorced, so there are 3 different places we could go and everybody wants to see us. My mum also lives alone and struggles with her mental health, so I feel bad leaving her on Christmas. We haven't yet spent a single Christmas with Joe's family. Each year we have attempted to make arrangements, but it never works out. It's difficult to stay with them for Christmas, as they don't have a spare room in their house. Hotels are expensive around Christmas time, and Joe and I are in agreement that we don't wish to stay in a crappy hotel over Christmas that costs a fortune. The biggest issue is that Joe's family have a very large, territorial and aggressive dog that they struggle to control. When we have visited, we have been forced to remain upstairs out of the way as this dog's behavior is so unpredictable, and any time he's hurt us he's lost his shit downstairs. We are very fortunate to own a large house with 2 spare double bedrooms. This is perfect for welcoming Joe's family for Christmas. Joe has started to make arrangements for his family to come and stay over the holiday this year, which is lovely. The problem is that his family will refuse to come without bringing their dog. I am very concerned about this because the dog has a history of aggression. I don't want to feel like I can't come downstairs to our kitchen, where he would stay overnight, or be scared just to walk around in my own home. Joe thinks the dog can stay outside in our small garden most of the time. But we can't predict the weather that far in advance, and his barking could disturb our neighbors on Christmas Day. I am worried about the safety and well-being of my cats. They will feel anxious, and could be torn apart. Everyone will be stressed out trying to control the dog. I shared my concerns and Joe told me that although he understands why I'm worried, he genuinely doesn't believe this will be a problem. He shared that they plan to bring a large crate to keep the dog in the kitchen, and he can be in our garden, or be out on walks most of the time. I just can't see this logistically working. Joe has since told me that he already told his family that it won't be a problem, before consulting me. I was obviously upset about this too. I don't want to be the asshole and tell him his family aren't allowed to come for Christmas, especially as we have never spent a Christmas with them. I also don't want his family to think I'm the reason they can't stay if Joe has already told them yes. Would I be the asshole for telling him that they can't come if they bring their aggressive dog? Not the asshole. You need to put your foot down on this one. Say no, and mean it. There is no reason they can't board the dog in kennels for a few days while they visit. There is no reason for them to bring an aggressive dog into your home that will likely end up scaring your cats into running away. It has to be a hard no to the dog or they don't come. Not the asshole even if you would be. I just don't want a dog in my house. This is enough to not let a dog into your house. You should feel comfortable in your own space. You said that this dog is aggressive, so they should really consider dog hotel or dog sitter. And as I understand, you want his family to come stay over, so it's not like separating him from family. For 15 years I always had someone pet sit my dog because my family doesn't wanted him during Christmas. And he was 16-pound sweetheart, and still it's reasonable to just don't want him in their house. They can choose a pet hotel in your city if they don't want him to stay behind. Not the asshole. My mom recently had her cat killed by a dog that was at her house that she did not want there, specifically out of fear for her cats. It was brutal. If he doesn't live with cats, then he will 100% try to eat your cats. Not the asshole. What kind of nutty people want to take their aggressive dog everywhere?